Good morning everybody, and welcome back to another episode of my Grand Exchange only account. Now my original goal for this account was to get 1000 total level without ever leaving the Grand Exchange area, and just a few months back we finally reached our goal of 1000 total. We used a bunch of interesting different training methods, killed thousands and thousands of imps, really progressed the account. Now the new goal for the account is 1500 total level. However, to make that realistic, we have expanded the Grand Exchange area slightly to include the Varrock Palace and the POH. So with that, we have a few more trees, a few more NPCs to fight, but with a bit of ingenuity, that actually unlocks a bunch of different content that I didn't have before. As always, if you do enjoy the Grand Exchange only account, don't forget to leave a like in the video, helps out a ton. Thanks a lot, and let's get started. Now, in the last episode, I discovered one of the best crafting methods in the game, at least for cost-effective crafting training, and that would be making the new Amethyst dart tips, mostly because they're really new and also because Amethysts are just really cost-effective in general. So because of that, we're actually able to grow our cash stack back up to around 15 mil, all while getting to 1240 total levels, so we are very close to 1250 now. So I think I'm going to start off by getting a few really easy total levels, and then we'll move on to something slower because I really want to start working towards our next 99. Well, there's a really easy strength level coming in, 56 strength. Luckily, whenever I'm feeling a bit disheartened on slower methods, I can just come over here, fight a couple guards, and get a little dopamine hit, and then go back to what I was doing. There's 57 strength, and there's 58 strength. So we took a bit of break from crafting training, but amethysts are still profitable, not nearly as much so as they were nearer to the release, but as long as it's break even, I think it's definitely still worth doing. We're getting decent experience rates at around 140k per hour, and if we're breaking even, that's amazing for crafting. Not to mention that more conventional crafting training methods are going up in price a bit, so this is getting more and more appealing. So we have a full level to go pretty well. Okay, so we've been doing a ton of crafting training. We just sold another 28,000 amethyst darts. We have another 24,000 down here. You can see we've just been doing tons and tons of amethyst, and we've taken a giant chunk out of this level so far. I'm just pretty happy with the fact that we're nearly halfway to 99 crafting, and we haven't really broken the bank too hard. We've obviously done a combination of a bunch of different things, but we've remained incredibly cost effective. So we're finally made it, guys, 92 crafting. That took a long time, 5 or 6 hours of purely doing amethyst darts. We just did a couple thousand amethysts whenever we felt like it, and we did eventually get the level, which means we are now officially halfway to 99 crafting. Well, you know how I said amethyst wasn't really profitable anymore? Well, that has changed a bit today. It's still pretty chaotic, the pricing, so you can still get really good margins sometimes making the amethyst darts. Right now they're selling for 600 each. We're selling a batch of 3000 amethyst for 14.3 mil, and we bought them for 13.1, which means we were primed to make 1.2 mil in profit on this, and that probably only took me around 2 hours to make all of them. Oh, you love to see it, guys. Everything's sold off, which means we just profited 1.2 mil on that. I just can't reiterate enough how much better it is making money from something than losing money. That sounds obvious, but it's actually such a time save to be making money from crafting. So another long level coming in here, and that is going to be 93 crafting. Amethyst darts have really kept me motivated to keep training crafting, and finally here it is, 93 crafting. That's another 600 or 700,000 crafting experience we just gained here, putting us closer and closer to 99 crafting. I thought magic would be my next 99, but now I'm not so sure. But it's great. We have 2, even 3 skills that are within striking distance for the skill cape. Okay, I've been slacking pretty hard on my tree runs, which is not good because I only have one tree, and that said, we did hit 55 farming. It's the summer though, so I've been gone a lot and we haven't really been keeping up with our farming too much, but we got to keep more on top of it because it's just way too slow if I only do a farm run every couple days with only one patch. Okay, so I thought I would go ahead and try to finish off at 1250 total level. I'm just waiting for the day that we somehow complete a medium clue here. We're getting loads of them, although it's incredibly unlikely that I complete one, but anyway, the main point though is there is 60 strength. A nice clean level coming in here, and I think that means we only have one level to go before we hit the 1250 milestone. Well, I just realized I could have been training ranged and gotten that way quicker. Oh well, that means we still have a ton of quick total levels left. I totally forgot about ranged, but now that we have a Dorkishkon crossbow, things are much quicker. We just hit 44 range, but more importantly, 1250 total level. Very exciting, guys. That means, well, we have access to a new world mainly, but more so it's just a milestone I've been working towards for a long time. Obviously, the next 250 levels are going to be very slow, but there's no doubting we have made a solid amount of progress even since 1000. Now, moneymakers that you can do at the Grand Exchange are sometimes a bit few and far between, but probably one of the best ones in the entire game. I've actually unlocked, kind of. Now, I've hinted at this a few times, but one of the best moneymakers you can do without really leaving this area is creating saplings from seedlings. Now, I have not been able to do this up till now because it actually requires farming levels. However, now that I have access to a farming patch in the Varrock Palace, I can actually do it. And another requirement for this method is actually a water source. There might have been a workaround for this, but this is going to make things way easier. Luckily, just to the east here, there's a water source. Now, essentially what I'm doing is growing seedlings into saplings. It's kind of a click-intensive process, but it can be incredibly profitable. So we went ahead and filled up a bunch of buckets. The next thing we need to do is go ahead and buy some seeds. We're going to start off by doing some mahogany seeds. Now, the reason this is so good is because you don't actually plant seeds in the ground, you plant saplings, and most people don't want to bother making them, so sometimes there's a 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, or even 5,000 GP margin just from creating these saplings. So we have the filled watering cans, we have the seedlings, so we're pretty much ready to go. So essentially the way this works is we have a gardening trowel in the top left corner and all our seedlings in the bottom right corner. And we also fill our entire inventory with filled plant pots. Now it's pretty click intensive, but you can go through them very quickly by clicking back and forth between the pots. There are a few different ways to do this. I find double clicking on each item and going back and forth to be the easiest and quickest. So we just have to go through all 200 seeds, and then the final step is watering them. Now, unfortunately, we don't have access to the lunar spellbook, so we have to do this manually. So the way we're going to water them is by withdrawing 3 watering cans, and we're going to do the exact same thing, double click on the watering can, and then on a sapling, and just go back and forth. So after going through all of them, the next step is just to wait 5 minutes for them to mature, and then we can sell them back in the Grand Exchange for a, well, it looks like a 200k profit in just about 5 minutes. So pretty damn good. Alright, so there's our first sale on saplings, and it looks like we made around 200k, like I said, which is a really good hourly profit of somewhere around 2 mil per hour. Now, it's unlikely I would do this for an hour straight. It's just a lot of clicking, but you know what? The option is there, and even just doing it for 10 or 15 minutes every day will add up to be a lot of money over time, especially once I get to higher saplings. They just get more and more profitable. Right now, we can only do maple saplings, mahogany, stuff like that, but eventually we'll be able to do yew, palm tree saplings, maybe even celestris and redwood trees someday, and those are incredibly profitable, which means even if you're destroying your wrists, at least you're doing it for a good cause and a lot of money. Because we got another good profit on maple saplings. We did another 200 of them for around a 300k profit. Pretty good, obviously a lot more money to buy all the seedlings, but definitely worth it. Now in the background here, we have a ton of cheap seedlings we're buying. Teak seeds, just in case we want to do those someday. There's still around a 1k profit on them, so it's definitely worth buying a seed that's only 50 or 100 GP versus something that's 30,000 just because the investment is way less. So we're just going to bankroll those for whenever I feel like doing them. But right now we have almost 2,000 seeds to go through already, so that should keep me busy for quite a while. So we already grinded out 5 range levels today, not bad, and we have a few more sales on the Mahogany saplings, selling them for 3,900 and buying them for 3,500, so actually almost a 400k profit on that one. And once again, theoretically, it should have only taken me around 5 minutes. We have a few more papaya seeds to process now, and of course we still have a bunch of stuff banked. Finally, another farming level coming in here. We are very close to our next sapling, which will be used saplings, which we'll be able to plant at 57, thanks to, of course, the garden pie. Once we're up to use, they're starting to get kind of expensive, so farming is not going to be nearly as cheap anymore. Oh, we just got a new item, the Lederhosen shorts, which means we almost have the full Lederhosen set, and I've gotten this random event like 10 times. Alright, we're stopping what we're doing here for a bit of a ramble. Let's take a quick look at the stats here. Does something look a little bit wrong to you? Well, it definitely does to me, and that would be our level 1 fishing. I've had this account running now for almost a year. Let's go check this. Okay, sorry, 11 months, but still, how are we this unlucky at getting the Evil Bob random event and getting the fishing experience? When I was planning out the series, I'm like, am I gonna get it 5 times or 10 times? But I didn't really expect to be almost a year later and not even have it once. Getting a single Bob random event might save me upwards of 30 or 40 hours. Once we get into the late game, if we get 3 or 4 of them, that will save me potentially hundreds of hours, and I just gotta complain a bit, guys. Where the heck's my Evil Bob random? I don't even get it. Yesterday, I was just watching Verf's new Karen Castle chunk locked account. Highly recommend watching it. There will be a link in the description for that. But my god, during the first episode, he got like 4 or 5 Evil Bob random events. I was kind of triggered, not gonna lie. Good video though. Anyway, rant over. Why am I level 1 fishing still? There is another range level coming in here, a big one, 50 range, which means not that much. I guess, well, I guess we could upgrade our armor a bit at this level. Okay, so I ended up doing a ton of saplings recently. We did 615 mahogany saplings. It only took me around 15 or 20 minutes to do, but it was 20 minutes of pure hell. That said, we sold them for 1.1 mil and bought them for around 600k, which means we profited about 550k on that. Not bad for only around 15 minutes work. Now, because we're actually up to around 18 mil now, I think we can spend about 2 mil just on dragon bones, just to gain a few more prayer levels. Man, ever since getting my POH upgraded, this is just so much better. We can get the full value from bones now. And burying dragon bones has actually become kind of cost effective compared to some of my other buyables I have to do. And we're already up to 71 prayer. Alright, so only a few minutes later and we have another prayer level coming in at 72 prayer. And I believe this is the final level we're going to get, 73 prayer, so 3 total levels from a 2 mil investment. Pretty par for the course at this point. Most of my buyable skills are getting quite expensive. So a couple episodes back, we finally unlocked Thieving as a viable training method, and luckily because we have access to the Varrock Palace, we have 2 different NPCs here we can thieve from. Now I tried them both out because I do have the Thieving level to do it, but I found I think at this level warrior women are still better, so we're gonna maybe thieve from them until 50, or then we might move on to the guards. Honestly, I just feel bad slaughtering the guards and stealing from them. That's just kind of a bit rude. So there we go, we just went ahead and hit 50 thieving. And I think we're going to stop here for a minute. Now, one thing you might have noticed is I actually changed out my food item. Apple pies are incredibly cost effective, and they have 2 bites, which is pretty convenient for thieving, which actually has helped extend my trips and just make my thieving experience go up a bit. That said, I think we're ready to move on to the guards, or at the very least, we'll go ahead and compare the rates. So I think this last woodcutting level is going to be the final bit for today's episode. That brings us up to a total level of 1,267. I'm pretty happy with the progress. That means we've gained 27 total levels today. And while we still have a little ways left until our goal of 1,300 total level, we made a significant amount of progress today to even some of our slowest skills like crafting, combat, prayer, thieving. We did a little bit of everything. So anyway guys, thanks for watching as always. I'm going to try to get the next episode out much quicker than the gap between the last two. Again, summer vacation did slow things down a bit, but I am hoping to get another GE only episode out this month. Thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you next time. Now before I go here guys, I want to give a massive thank you to all of my members over on YouTube. Thank you so much to The Hybrid, Guy Fox, Timothy Chen, Ocelot, and Kush Patel for all being subscribed at the Dragon tier. You guys are awesome. Thank you guys as always. Also a big shout out to Base Titch, Mexos, NDM001, and YoYoSup89. Appreciate it as always. If you guys are looking for another way to support the channel, becoming a YouTube member is an awesome way to do so. Helps directly fund me, of course. If you become a member, you can become immortalized in all of my future videos, get access to a video release schedule, and of course get a custom role in my Discord server. Thanks a lot guys, and I'll see you next time.